it's like masks. Masks don't do anything. They don't work at all. There is zero. I mean, we saw the underlying data for this study that showed that masks worked. And the chart they didn't show you is the chart that shows that the curves for the mask, for the people who were wearing the mask, are identical to the people who aren't wearing the mask. The curves are on top of each other. This is for the purple cloth masks. They're on top of the people who weren't wearing any mask. Now, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because masks don't do anything. Because if masks really worked,
make it worse.
Then it would, yeah. Then the curves would be distinct. Yeah. But they're right on top of each other, and it is unambiguous. But you see, that figure that showed that never made it into the paper at all. But what we did is we went to the GitHub repo where they stored all the data, and we found this. But it somehow, that graph somehow escaped being published in the paper that published. It says the Bangladesh mass study, mask work, right? That masking works. And here we are with the Bangladesh mass study that shows that that these masks work. So
you're going to stand by the argument that Bill Gates is just trying to save lives and help people.
Yeah, because like the masking thing, like people believe because it's published in a paper in Science that wasn't retracted, even though they should have been.
Well, not Gates. Even though Gates is different. Bill Gates knows. Bill Gates knows more than just watching TV.
Yeah, it's not clear that it's not clear that he knows. He could be duped just like these other guys.
With his event 201, where they scripted the entire response to a coronavirus.
Look, they're doing that for the public benefit, right? If you truly cared about the public benefit, you would do the same thing. You do the same plan.
He's made a lot of money on the vaccines. He's admitted. He said, "This is the greatest investment I've ever made. Is all these vaccines." They know that they've heard.
No. But look, he's talking about lives saved for per vaccine dose. Okay, when he says the best investment, he means that, look, I invested $1 million and I saved 1 million lives, or that he believes that these vaccines have saved millions of lives. So he's drinking from the Kool-Aid. And I don't have any evidence that I have seen showing me the smoking gun memo from Bill Gates showing that he's a bad guy.
But he wants to depopulate the planet.
I think he realizes that at least I think it's correctly, but I'm open to hearing otherwise. But let's say that he concludes correctly that the world should have a finite population, and we have really gone from sort of flat line to just really extremely populating the planet, and apparently using up more resources than the planet has. And so you have to come to a breaking point where you say, look, the planet that we're on can only support so many people. And we need to either figure out a way to make the planet more productive, or we need to figure out how to reduce the number of people. But when Bill talks about reducing the number of people through vaccination, it is not, hey, we're going to give people vaccines that are killing them and we're just not going to tell them that. No, he's doing that because there are studies that show that if people believe, and they believe correctly because they're seeing it, that their offspring will not die from disease and so forth. They'll have fewer kids, right? Because one of the reasons that motivates having more kids is that that some percentage of the kids will die from malaria or from whatever disease. But if that doesn't happen, then we don't need as many kids to support us in our old age, and we won't have as many. And it's kind of educating women. They end up having fewer kids, maybe because they're spending their time differently. I don't know what the reason is, but the point is that there's some interventions you can do that will slow the the growth of population. And there's nothing that says Bill Gates is going and, the secret memo from Bill saying, hey, let's deploy this vaccine because we know it's super dangerous and we're trying
No, you're never going to see a memo like that, though. I mean, the point is that he's invested heavily with Monsanto. Glyphosate is basically poison, and talking about, we have to genetically modify the corns, and he's all about genetic modification of animals and crops so that we can
But he's looking at genetic modification as being a good thing rather than hey, here's how you kill people.
But my argument is, if anyone who's studied a little bit, has a little bit of the knowledge, I know I have access to, and I know he's got access to probably even more, is that regenerative farming and actually not going against monocultures and crop rotation and not feeding people genetically modified food that their systems are not designed to absorb, right? Our bodies are not designed to absorb. But why is he pushing that agenda then?
Right. But Sean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for vaccination, right? That there are a lot of doctors who claim that vaccination is a good thing and it saves lives, right? And hey, we've got evidence showing the opposite in terms of these studies. And, like Andrew Wakefield and there's Paul Thomas have done studies showing, hey, the more you vaccinate people, the worse their health outcomes are. So why is it that physicians are pushing these vaccines all the time? And the answer is because when they go to medical school, they're trained into believing that the vaccines are safe and effective, and these things save lives, and it's like gospel. It's like it's like you learn in school that the Earth is round, and that the Earth rotates, or it's spherical actually, and the Earth rotates around the sun. And do you ever go back and question that?
Yeah, you should.